Maybe you can put away this desk. There is. I don't need this. Also this. I will speak by heart. I will speak from my heart. I will quote books, but I have here if I need it. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Prachajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prachajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jam Vishnupatram Suprapachikcharya Stotra Shata Shri Srimad Shila Abhay Chadravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namachara Shakartastak Ki Jai Premsika Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. O glorious assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. O glorious assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. O glorious assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. O glorious Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. O glorious Shri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtabhutari Shrimati Radhanath Swamiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtabhutari Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Khadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shivata Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatyanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vehivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we continue our discussion on the qualities of devotees that are very pleasing to Lord Krishna from 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita from 13th verse onward till the end of the chapter. Krishna explains what are the qualities that are very pleasing to him. And we have discussed that adveshta, that one doesn't hate anything or anyone in this world, no situation even, or anything that is happening to him. He welcomes everything actually. Adveshta sarva bhutanam, and he is not inimical towards anyone. Maitrah karuna ivacha. Just the opposite. He's friendly towards everyone, acts like a true friend, and he's full of mercy. So, and we have explained how these qualities are extremely important for everyone who tries to be a Vaishnava, who tries to please the Lord, without being a friend even to our enemies, so-called enemies. We cannot establish any relationship with Krishna, because every living entity is part of Krishna, and Krishna is sending all so-called enemies in our life just to train us to give up our false idea of happiness, yes, and to get purified. And then he says, Nirmama, that nothing is ours. We should understand that we are not proprietors of anything. Yes, not even our life is our life. Yes, Bhagavatam is putting this question: who's the proprietor of the body? Is mother or father, or we are the proprietors, or dogs who which eat the body, or we can say worms or birds, or the fire who consumes the body. Who is the owner of the body? Yes. So we should understand that we are not the owner of anything, but we are entrusted certain things in our life, and we should take proper care of them. That even if we are not the proprietor, we should understand that we shouldn't neglect things that are entrusted in our care. Yes, and we gave this example from business world. If one is a bank employee, he has to be very diligent with money, although nothing is his. If he takes anything, he's punished. But if he's not very careful and he doesn't protect the money, he's also punished. Yes, so we should behave in the same way with whatever we are entrusted as good caretakers. Yes. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitrah karuna ivacha niramo nirahankara. Yes, samadukha sukhashami. And this is the next quality that one has acquired. And this is nirahankara, to be without false ego. Yes. Lord Krishna stresses this nirahankara in different verses in Bhagavad Gita. And also nirmama, that nothing is mine, repeatedly. So this is not just something to entertain Arjuna with high philosophy, but it's really important that we understand properly and try to imbibe these qualities in our life. Yes. For example, in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he mentions both these two qualities of nirmama and nirahankara in one verse. He says, Vihaya kamanyak sarvam pumam sharati nispriha nirmamo nirahankara sashanti madigachati. That one is able to attain peace if vihaya kamanyak sarvan, if he rejects all different types of desires. Yes, all kaman. And we should understand that this karma is desire for pleasure, actually. not just desire for sex pleasure, but any kind of desire for pleasure. And that means gross or subtle pleasure, both types of pleasure. Pleasure of existence, of material existence. This is karma. I want something to enjoy in this life. Yes, this is karma. So vihaya kamanyak sarvan. Sarvan means everything, every desire we should reject for material pleasure. But it's not possible to give up desires for material pleasure as long as we are materially conditioned. So, and nirahankara, again, we should be without false ego. Ahankara means false ego, and nirahankara means without false ego. So both in the 12th chapter and here in the 2nd chapter, he stresses we should be without false ego. And what is false ego? False ego is, this body is dead, it's not false ego, we can say. What is false ego?
Identifying the body to be the self.
Yes, identifying with something that we are not. Ego means self. So that we identify with ourselves something that we are not. This is false ego. So this material body is certainly, if we identify with it, is false ego. But there are many dimensions of false ego. Lord Krishna explains or it is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. That everyone is eternally servant of Krishna. And if we act at any time otherwise, that means that we cultivate false ego. So, in any situation, we should understand that we should act as a servant. Yes. This is giving up false ego. There is no other giving up false ego. How can we give up false ego in any other way? Do you have any idea? We cannot give up false ego in any other way. Yes. We can say we are confined in this body against even our will, maybe. But if we act as Krishna's servant in this situation in which we are, then everything is perfect. Then my situation is not cultivating false ego anymore, because I'm cultivating my true ego, that I'm a servant. Yes. So everyone is put in a certain position with the purpose, not without a purpose. Of course, as long as we don't become a devotee, this is just a karmic reaction. But as soon as we become devotees, Krishna takes over, and he sends us different tests and help us in different ways to become purified. So he teaches us through different circumstances how to surrender to him. And if we cling to our false ego, to our imagined superiority to anyone, even to animals, we are not superior to anyone. We are servant of everyone. Yes, because animals and insects and so on are also Krishna's part and parcels. So in this way we are servant of everyone. Of course, we should know how to serve properly to different living entities. For example, Lord Kapiladev said And those who see any difference among different living entity, he has a separate identity from the Lord, Pritak Bhava. But then just after this, he lists different gradations of living entities, just as he would forget what he just said. Yes, so there are different gradations of living entities. So we should serve different living entities according to their position. Yes, we would serve a cow differently than we serve a brahmana. Yes. To a cow you give a bunch of grass, you scratch her neck, and this is service for a cow. But you can't serve brahmana to give him a bunch of grass and scratch his neck. This would be an offense. Yes. So we should know how to properly serve different living entities. Sometimes proper service is even to kill. Yes. Arjuna was asked to kill different living entities. And as we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, Arjuna, he was not killing only on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He was actually a serious killer. If you remember the past time when Arjuna with Krishna, Arjuna was asked by the Agnidev to protect him when he tried to consume the forest of Kandava, because Agnidev consumed too much ghee from different sacrifices, from different yagas, so he had digestive problems. And in Kandava forest, there were different medicinal herbs, very good for digestion. But it happened that this forest was under the protection of Indra. And whenever Agnidev wanted to consume the forest, Lord Indra sent forth rains and put off the fire. So he couldn't get his herbs. And therefore he approached Arjuna and asked him for protection, for help. And Arjuna accepted this because Kshatriya is one who protects. And if one is taking shelter of a Kshatriya, Kshatriya cannot refuse giving his shelter. Even Maharaj Parikshit gave shelter to Kali, personified, because he took his shelter. And if King Parikshit wouldn't give shelter, because this was his position to give shelter, he would act improperly and Kali would become prominent. Because if you act against religion, then Kali prevails. Yes. So Arjuna then went with Krishna, and when Agni started to consume the forest, he created a protective roof with his arrows, Arjuna. He was shooting arrows so quickly that he created a roof over the forest. So not even a drop of rain, because Indra immediately sent forth rains again. But not even a drop of rain fell on the forest because there were so dense these arrows in the air. But then Agnidev was consuming the forest. Forest was burning. It was severe forest fire. And different animals were trying to escape from the forest. But every single one of them was shot dead by Arjuna. Yes, that they fell back into the fire. So sometimes this nirmama or nirahankara is not what one may think that it is. Actually, nirahankara, that we are without false ego, means to be completely surrendered to the will of our Guru. This is real nirahankara. Therefore, everyone has to accept Guru in spiritual life. It's impossible to advance spiritually without Guru, because you have to surrender your life, and not just theoretically. If we don't accept Guru, and we may think, I have surrendered my life to Krishna, but Krishna instructs, surrender to Guru. So, what kind of our surrender is if we don't follow the order of our master? And also this Ritvik craziness is the same. Yes. Prabhupada says you should take shelter of Guru. And this Ritvik say we don't need to take shelter of Guru, we take shelter of Prabhupada. So completely against his will. So it's easy to take shelter of someone who's not there to correct you. But usually it's not so easy to surrender to someone who can say something to you, because we are afraid that our situation will be changed, that we'll be told something that we don't like. Yes. And this is nirahankara. You should understand, I live only for Krishna's pleasure. This is my only purpose of my existence. So it would be wise from me to accept everything as Krishna's mercy, as a service opportunity for Krishna. So even if something inconvenient happens to me, I won't protest. Yes, I won't protest, because I know this is Krishna's mercy coming to me. So if I protest, I don't want Krishna's mercy. Yes, maybe it's something painful or humiliating, or everyone is against us, or they even abuse us. But we should know, like this Avanti Brahmana. You know this story from 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam? Yes. There was one Brahmana who was extremely miserly man. He was sitting on his money like yaksha, like some ghost. And he didn't let anyone to enjoy this money. And he himself also didn't enjoy this money. He just kept it. But then it happened that some thieves came and they stole some of his money. And then some government taxes, extra taxes came and took away some other portion of his money. And then some calamity unexpected came. And so it happened that he lost all his money. And because no one liked him, because he was so miserly before, so now everyone rejected him utterly and threw him on the street. And so at the beginning he lamented very much his destiny. But then he realized, finally I'm free. Before, he was always afraid, what will happen to my money? What will some dacoits can come, my family members want to plunder me. He was always in anxiety because of his wealth, but now he was at last free. No anxiety anymore, and he decided to take sannyas, to completely renounce this world. But he was severely tested by the Lord. His decision was severely tested, and people abused him severely. Yes, he was begging door to door like it's proper for a sannyasi. But people said, just see this pretender, because he lost his money. Now he pretends that he's a sannyasi, that he's a saint. So instead of giving him alms, they took away everything from him. Or sometimes he got something to eat, and people came and urinated in his food and spat on him and took away his begging bowl, and they bound him with ropes, and so many abuses performed. But he was always satisfied in the heart. He understood, yes, this is all the reactions of my misdeeds before. Yes, all these reactions that I undergo are just Lord's mercy for me to spiritually advance, that I can really renounce this world. So, and if you take example of Jada Bharat, it's also extreme example. Shastra is always giving extreme examples that we can understand. Otherwise, we would have this tendency. Yes, it was easy for him, but I'm in worse situation. We can't say that we are in worse situation than Avanti Brahmana. And we can't say that we are in a worse situation than Arjuna, for example, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Who is ordering us to kill our own grandfather and teacher and brothers? No one. So, yes, what happened with Jada Bharat? He completely renounced his kingdom. He was the king of the earth. Yes, the whole world was named after him, Bharatvarsha. Yes, so he was so great king, and he left his comfort, left his kingdom, left his family, left his everything, just like a man leaves stool behind himself. Yes, it is explained in Bhagavata. So usually people are extremely proud of their renunciation if they are able to renounce something. But no one is proud when they leave their stool behind. Yes. So this was also the situation with Jada Bharat. He was not proud to give up all these things. So his renunciation was genuine, was real. But it happened because he was a kshatriya, that he saw a doe, pregnant doe, that means she deer, female deer, and she came to some river to drink water, and a tiger roared just nearby, and in her fear she jumped and delivered a baby deer, and then she died, and baby deer survived. And Bharat Maharaj at that time, he took this deer to his ashram because he wanted to protect it. But it happened because of some Krishna's arrangement that he became extremely attached to this deer, and he forgot all about his spiritual development. And it happened that he became deer in his next life. So he paid a dear price. Hare Krishna. But he didn't lose his memory when he was a deer, so he was extremely austere deer, eating just dry leaves, and he was going to the ashrams of saints and hearing Krishna Katha regularly. And then in his next life, he became a son of a Brahmana. He was called Jada Bharat, or inert Bharat, or foolish, retarded Bharat. He pretended that he's completely retarded because he still kept his memory from his previous births, and he understood that I don't want to mess with this world at all. And therefore, his brothers abused him. Yes, but he didn't protest. They gave him the worst type of food, but he happily ate it. The food full of worms, but he happily ate it. They put him as a scarecrow on the field and other things. Father loved him, but he acted all against his father's instructions. He said, when you go to the toilet, then you wash yourself. But he washed himself before he went to the toilet, just to play a fool, that he's a fool. And then it happened that some dacoits wanted to perform human sacrifice, and the human animal, as they called him, escaped. And so they were searching for a new person to be sacrificed, and they found Jada Bharat. They took him to the deity, and he willingly followed everyone. And because he was a saintly personality, he knew exactly what is going on. And they dressed him very nicely, fed him very nicely, and he didn't protest, he didn't try to escape. And then they prepared him, they bathed him, prepared him to be sacrificed. They put his head down and took a very sharp sword. He knew exactly what is going on, but he didn't protest. He didn't move. Yes, because he understood, I'm not this body. If Krishna wants me to be sacrificed to this deity, it's his will. Yes, this is extreme type of abuse. No one is as abused as Jada Bharat. Who can say I'm abused more than Jada Bharat? Can anyone say? No. No one can say. But Jada Bharat didn't protest. And of course, when this priest wanted to chop off his head, then Kali, Bhadra Kali, jumped out of the deity, burst out of the deity. She took the sword of this priest and chopped off the heads of all these dacoits. And these different witches also came along with her. And they were playing with these hats. They were throwing these hats here and there and screaming. And Jada Bharat, although this was a ghastly scene, you can just imagine what the ghastly scene it was. He was unaffected by this scene. Yes. And he just proceeded for his business. Just peacefully. Just as if nothing would happen. And then they took him to carry the palanquin for the king, Rahugana. And he was carrying it. He didn't protest again. But he didn't want to step on ants. Yes. He didn't care if the king threatened him. Yes. Because he respected living entities. So this should be our desire, to be as nirmama and nirahankara as Chadabharat and other saints from the scripture. These descriptions of these saints are there not to entertain us, but to understand the principle. So, to be nirahankara, without false ego, is extremely important. Therefore, Krishna stresses it again and again and again. Don't cultivate your false ego. Be a servant. Be a servant. And I'm very satisfied if you are without false ego. I'm very satisfied. Yeah. Such a devotee is very dear to me, he says, again and again and again. Yes. So, give up your false ego. Give up your struggle for better material situation. Prahlad Maharaj explains in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karmina sadapnoti khaya dukkam anikhaya sukhavita. It's sankalpa, or firm determination of materialists. I will achieve happiness, sukhaya, and dukkha mokshaya. I will be free from misery. Yes, this is a firm vow of materialistic person. But what is the consequence? Sadapnoti khaya dukkam. Always they get just misery. This is the consequence of struggling for material comfort, for material happiness. So don't strive for material happiness. It comes automatically. No one strives for material misery, but it comes automatically, even if you don't strive for it. So this is the world of duality. Happiness and distress, they come and go like the seasons of the year. So we shouldn't strive for material happiness. We should strive for Krishna consciousness. If we strive for Krishna consciousness, then only we have eternal benefit. Otherwise, even if we are successful in our struggles, what we achieve? Nothing. Because at the end, everything is taken away from us. Yes. So, all our struggle is in vain. That's what Krishna explains in 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Mugasha moga karma no moga jnana vichitasa. Rakshasima surincheva prakriti mohinim shita. Those who take shelter of prakriti mohinim, or illusory energy, everything is in vain. Their hopes are in vain. Their endeavors are in vain. Their knowledge is in vain. Everything is in vain. Everything will be lost. And he says that such people are Rakshasas and Asuras, and blood-sucking demons. And these are Krishna's words directly. Yes. So we should know that as long as we strive for material happy life, according to Krishna, we are blood-sucking demon. And why Krishna uses these words? It's not just insult. It has deeper meaning. One who is materialist, he tries to suck the energy for his pleasure, actually. Yes. Everyone can understand this. Every business deal is like this. I invest something to extract more. Otherwise, no one would make business deals, isn't it? Yes, I want to extract more. Therefore, I'm sucking life of others. Yes, actually, as long as I'm materialist, I'm sucking life of other living entities. Therefore, Krishna's definition is correct. Yes, Mahatmanas tu mam parta devim prakriti marshata. Bhajantyana manaso gyatva putadimavayam. But on the other hand, Mahatmas or great souls, they take shelter of divine energy and they always serve Krishna. Yes, with one pointed attention. So this kind of behavior should accept everyone who wants to spiritually progress. Yes. Of course, we are free to choose. Either we want material life or we want spiritual life. But if we want spiritual life, we have to give up material consciousness. It's not possible to cultivate both. As Lord Jesus said, then no one can have two masters. Either you will respect one and despise the other. So we can't sit on two chairs simultaneously. We have to decide. Either we want material life or spiritual life. Yes, please.
Someone told me about this, that actually usually when we go to Krishna consciousness, and I find your English very well composed, being between two chairs means we are going to fall at some point.
Yes.
So if you try to be in between, and he told me that when you go to Krishna consciousness, often at first you lose everything. Is that your experience, or and then Krishna gives back? But at first, when you lose,
Depends on Krishna's will. Krishna is independent. So there is no rule that would govern Krishna. That Krishna would be submitted to some rule. Maybe someone will lose everything. But definitely we will lose our material life. If you understand. If we surrender to Krishna, we will lose our material life. Yes. Because we cannot have material life and be surrendered to Krishna. We will have spiritual life. Lord Jesus also said, Lord Jesus was considered a messenger of peace, isn't it? And he said, don't think that I brought peace. I brought a sword to sever a son from his father and daughter from her mother. So, if one is serious in spiritual life, he has to give up material association. And if that means his father or mother, he gives up also his family. Yes. And there are many cases that family members extremely put extreme pressure on someone who tried to become a devotee. For example, even in Christian tradition, there was some saint, I believe in Spain, who had to go a few thousand miles away in some monastery to have peace from his relatives. Yes. And we mentioned the other day Saint Francis. He was a son of wealthy merchant, cloth merchant, and he was distributing this cloth to poor people. And his father was extremely disturbed by this, and he took him to a bishop, and he said, my son is distributing my clothing to everyone. And he said, this is not your cloth. You shouldn't distribute something that is not yours. Not even this clothing that you're wearing is not. This is also not yours. It's also mine. Father said in front of bishop. And then Saint Francis took off all his clothes, so he was completely naked, and he took shelter under the coat of bishop. And he said, from now on, I'm calling my father only my father in heaven. So, yes, he lost his family connection. So when we try to progress spiritually, our sincerity will be tested again and again and again. And that means that will be taken away some things also to test how serious we are in our pursuit of spiritual life, of our surrendering to Krishna. If our surrender is genuine, or it's just sunny weather surrender. We have to understand that we'll be tested. More sincere we are, more tests will be there. Because spiritual life is not cheap. Muktin dadati karhichit smagna bhakti yogam. As is explained, Krishna even gives easily mukti or liberation, but not bhakti, because bhakti has power to control even the Lord himself. So we are given something the highest, and not many are interested in real jewels. There are many customers in the false jewelry shop, but diamonds are purchased rarely because they're expensive. So we are invited to the diamond shop, yes, to accept something most valuable. And it's a sale. It's a time for sale. It's big discount. We have to invest only our faith. This is everything. Yes. And then we will be given something invaluable. And this is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness given by Lord Chaitanya is something that brings us beyond the inhabitants of Vaikuntha. Can you imagine? There are ever liberated devotees in Vaikuntha, perfect for all existence. And we are conditioned souls, but we are given an opportunity to go beyond all of these inhabitants of Vaikuntha, to go directly to most intimate abode of spiritual existence. to establish most intimate relationship with Krishna. This is not something cheap. Yes, this is most precious jewel of spiritual existence. So, requirement is to give up our false ego, nirahankara, and nirmama. We don't claim anything is mine. And we will discuss further qualities tomorrow afternoon. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Is there any question or comment or doubt? Yes.
If a devotee gets married to a woman and later, like Jara Maharaj was experiencing trouble, later if the devotee starts experiencing trouble, so how he should approach this problem? Should he tolerate everything and see that, okay, everything that is happening is my karma coming back to me through her? So Krishna is sending it back, or should we end it and completely surrender to Krishna? Like, what should be the right approach?
Yes. Lord Rishabhadev says, Gurur nasasvat sarjano nasasyat pitana sarjanini nasyat devam natasyanna pratishashasyanna mocheti asamopitamityam. In 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that one shouldn't become a father or mother or a guru or husband if he is not able to deliver those who are dependent on him. So, before we get married, we should know who we marry. This is important. One should very thoroughly know what is the man psychology, what is woman psychology. This is very conducive for peaceful family life. And of course, if we get married before our Krishna consciousness, and then we become Krishna conscious later on, we should try to bring our family members to Krishna as hard as we can, and as considerate as possible, because we have changed, and this change was not foreseen by our spouse, for example. I don't know about what situation you are asking, but we should be considerate in all circumstances and pray for our spouse to become Krishna conscious, and for our children also. But we should be example of perfect Krishna conscious person as far as possible. That means especially chanting the holy name with real attention, not to be distracted to anything. So if this takes to get up very early in the morning, we should get up early in the morning just to chant in peace our holy names. Then we can connect with the Lord. Otherwise, it's not possible to connect. So that should be there. And we try to bring our family members to Krishna consciousness. But at the end, if we are not able, when we get retired, it's just time to give up such a family which is not conducive for spiritual life. Yes, this is recommended by our acharyas. But of course, there's no question of remarriage. then your only life is Krishna and service to every living entity. Yes, by giving them Krishna consciousness. But in order to give anyone Krishna consciousness, we have to have Krishna consciousness ourselves. So we should be extremely serious in our spiritual life. Yes. Everyone who wants to progress spiritually has to be extremely serious in spiritual life, either living in family life or outside the family life. Yes, this is required. So, yes, we try our best, but we shouldn't stay with our family till the end of our life if our family is not conducive for spiritual life, if they're against it. So when we are old enough and children are grown up, um, and our wife still doesn't want to follow us, we just go. Hare Krishna. And leave everything behind. Nirmama, nothing is mine. Let her have material assets if she doesn't want spiritual assets. Yes. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Thank you very much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gandharaj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanandi. Hare Krishna. Please have my humble best.